Hello my dear students of class 9. You can see I have your science NCERT book. So I will explain today the second part of chapter tissue. I have already explained this chapter in my previous video till page number 71, and now I am going to explain onward 72 page number. So let's start. Epidermal cells of the roots, whose function is water absorption, commonly bear long hair-like parts that greatly increase the total absorptive surface area. In some plants, like desert plants, epidermis has a thick waxy coating of cutin, that is a chemical substance with waterproof quality. So why cutin is this waxy coating is present in only desert plants? So the answer is to just prevent the water loss during the daytime. So this cuticle layer is present on the desert plant. So as plant grow older, the outer protective tissue undergoes certain changes. A strip of secondary meristem located in the cortex forms layer of cells which constitute the cork. Cells of the cork are dead and compactly arranged without intercellular spaces. They also have the substance called suberin in their walls that makes them impervious to gases and water. You know about the lateral meristem? So lateral meristem, on continuously dividing, gives rise to these cork cells which are dead and without any intercellular space and present just beneath the bark. When it is differentiated into the outermost parenchymal epithelial layer, it becomes bark, and this you can see here the ruptured epidermis, which is called bark. Now come to complex permanent tissue. Up to this I have explained you the simple permanent tissue. Now it is complex permanent tissue. Why it is called complex? Because these tissues are made up of not only a single type of cells, it is made up of many type of cells such as xylem and phloem. So you already studied in your junior classes also. So in very brief I have explained it. So xylem consists of tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber, and among these four types of cells only xylem parenchyma cells are alive and rest three cells are dead. And what is the function of xylem? This allows them to transport water and minerals vertically from root to the leaves so that it can prepare their own food. So the parenchyma stores food. Xylem fibers are mainly supportive in function, and the main conducting cells are tracheids and vessels. Vessels are also known as trachea. Second one is phloem. Phloem is made up of 5 types of cells. Actually these are combined cells, sieve cells and sieve tubes. So we can say it 4 types of cells. So sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fiber and phloem parenchyma. Among these 4 types of cells, only phloem fiber is dead and the rest 3 cells are alive. And what is its function? To transport food, prepared food from leaves to different parts of the plant body. And the main conducting cells are here sieve tube and companion cells. Now come to animal tissue. When we breathe, we can actually feel the movement of our chest. How do these body parts move? For this, we have specialized cells called muscle cells. The contraction and relaxation of these cells result in movement. Now, during breathing, we inhale oxygen. Where does this oxygen go? It is absorbed in the lungs and then is transported to all the body cells through blood. Why would cells need oxygen? The functions of mitochondria we studied earlier provide a clue to this question. Blood flows and carries various substances from one part of the body to the other. For example, it carries oxygen and food to all cells. It also collects waste from all parts of the body and carries them to the liver and kidney for the disposal. So blood and muscles are both the examples of tissues found in our body. On the basis of function they perform, we can think of different types of animal tissues such as epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue and nervous tissue. Blood is a type of connective tissue and muscles form muscular tissue. So why blood is called connective tissue? Because it connects our different body organs from each other through different type of channels such as vessels and veins and arteries. Among these, the first one is epithelial tissue. The covering or protective tissue in the animal body are epithelial tissue. That means it protects our organs and also gives support to those organs and make them separate from other organs. Epithelium covers most organs and cavities within the body. It also forms a barrier to keep different body systems separate. The skin, the lining of the mouth, the lining of the blood vessel, lung, alveoli and kidney tubules are all made of epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue cells are tightly packed and form a continuous sheet. They have only a small amount of cementing material between them and also no intercellular spaces. Obviously, anything entering or leaving the body must cross at least one layer of epithelium. As a result, the permeability of cells of various epithelia play an important role in regulating the exchange of material between the body and the external environment and also between the different parts of the body. So it helps in exchange of different materials between the two organs and the cells and the external environment, and also keep the organs separate from each other. Regardless of the type, all epithelium is usually separated from the underlying tissue by an extra fibrous basement membrane. So you can see here in the picture, this is stomach and its inner lining is formed by the epithelium. You can see here this is the blood vessels and it is lined by the epithelial layer. Now, different epithelia show differing structure and correlate with their unique functions. For example, epithelium are also of different types on the basis of their structure where they present. So, for example, in cells lining blood vessels or lung alveoli, where transportation of substances occur through a selectively permeable surface, there is a simple flat kind Blood has a fluid matrix called plasma in which red blood corpuscles, white blood corpuscle WBC and platelets are suspended. The plasma contains proteins, salt and hormones. Blood flows and transport gases, digested food, hormones and waste materials to different parts of the body. That means this is its function, blood's function. Now second one is bone. Bone is the hardest connective tissue. So it is another example of connective tissue. It forms the framework that supports the body. It also anchors the muscles and supports the main organs of the body. It is strong and non-flexible tissue. What would its function? Bone cells are embedded in the hard matrix that is composed of calcium and phosphorus. This is the what is the constituents of bone? It composed of calcium and phosphorus. Two bones can be connected to each other by another type of connective tissue called ligament. That means where it present between the connection or joint of two bones, ligament is present. This tissue is very elastic. It has considerable strength. Ligaments contain very little matrix and connects one bone with another. Tendons connect muscles to the bones and are another type of connective tissue. Tendons are fibrous tissue with great strength but limited flexibility. Another type of connective tissue, cartilage, has widely spaced cells. The solid matrix is composed of proteins and sugars. Cartilage smoothen bone surfaces at the joints and also present in the nose, ear, trachea and larynx. We can fold. This is important lines that where it present and what is its function. So it is present in the nose, ear, trachea and larynx. What is the another name of larynx? Voice box is the another name. We can fold the cartilage of the ear, but we cannot bend the bones in our arms. Think of how the two tissues are different. So areolar connective tissue is another type of tissue that is found between the skin and the muscle, around blood vessels and nerves, and in the bone marrow. You know where bone marrow is present? Inside the bones. Hollow bones are hollow, mostly the long bones are hollow, and within which bone marrow is produced. It fills the space inside the organs, supports internal organs and help in repair of tissue. Where are fats stored in our body? Fat storing adipose tissue is found below the skin and between internal organs. The cells of this tissue are filled with fat globules. Storage of fat also let it act as an insulator. So you can see or you can understand now that all the fats in our body are mostly deposited just under the skin and also below the skin and between internal organs. Our internal organs such as stomach and intestine, these are the organs. So in between these organs fats are deposited. And the third one is muscular tissue. Muscular tissue consists of elongated cells also called muscle fibers. This tissue is responsible for movement in our body. So muscles contain special proteins called contractile protein. This is the important thing which contract and relax to cause movement. And next, now we can move some muscles by conscious. Muscles present in our limbs move when we want them to and stop when we so decide. Such muscles are called voluntary muscles. Now in the figure 6.11, these muscles are also called skeletal muscles as they are mostly attached to bones and help in body movement. Under the microscope, these muscles show alternate light and dark bands or striations. These light and dark bands are called striations. When stained appropriately, as a result, they are also called striated muscles. The cells of this tissue are long, cylindrical, unbranched and multinucleate. You can see here the diagram. So these are this dark band and this is light band. Alternate dark and light, presence of alternate light and dark bands, and this is called striations, and the nucleus is present peripherally. Okay, and there is no branchy, straight cylindrical structure. So the movement of food in the alimentary canal or the contraction and relaxation of the blood vessels are involuntary movement. We cannot really start them or stop them simply. We can say it, these are automatic. So smooth muscles or involuntary muscles controls such movements. Involuntary, that is not on our will. They are also found in the iris of the eyes, in ureters and in bronchi of the lungs. The cells are long with pointed end and uninucleate, having single nucleus. They are also called unstriated due to absence of striations. muscles. Why would they be called that? The muscles of these are the unstriated muscles, because light and dark bands are absent, so that unstriations, that is striations, are absent, and a single spindle shaped cells are and with a single nuclei. Now the muscles of the heart show rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout the life. These involuntary muscles are called cardiac muscles. Heart muscle cells are cylindrical, branch and uninucleate. You can say these are cylindrical, and again these are branched, and all the cells contain a single nucleus. That means only one single is present. And the last part is nervous tissue. All cells possesses the ability to respond to stimuli. However, cells of the nervous tissue are highly specialized for being stimulated and then transmitting the stimulus very rapidly from one place to another within the body. The brain, spinal cord and nerves are all composed of nervous tissue. The cells of this tissue are called nerve cells or neurons. A neuron consists of a cell body with a nucleus and cytoplasm, from which long thin hair-like parts arise. Usually each neuron has a single long part called axon and many short branched parts. You can see here the picture of the neuron or a single nerve cell. So this chapter is completed now. Here I have a small thing, that is the concept map of the whole chapter. You can see here tissue. It has two parts, that is plant tissue and animal tissue. Again, plant tissue is divided into meristematic, permanent, and again meristematic is divided into apical, intercalary, lateral. Again, permanent is divided into simple and complex tissue. Simple permanent tissue is divided again into three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Complex tissue is divided into xylem, phloem, and this one, the xylem, is again have four components: xylem parenchyma, xylem fiber, xylem trachea, xylem trachea. And phloem has phloem parenchyma, phloem fiber, sieve tube and companion cell. And here it is animal tissue, epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue and nervous tissue. Epithelial tissue has squamous, stratified squamous, columnar, ciliated columnar, glandular. And connective tissue is two types: blood tissue and bone tissue. And muscular tissue of three types: striated, smooth and cardiac. And nervous tissue comprises of neuron cells. So that's all of this chapter. Thank you.